Back the newsfeed continues now. The Democratic Alliance accusing the Defence Minister of neglecting South African troops who are part of a peacekeeping mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo. 9 South African National Defence Force members are among the 13 peacekeepers killed this week by M23 rebels near Goma. They were deployed in December 2023 as part of the 16-member Southern African Development Community Mission in the DRC. I'm now joined by Chris Hattingh, DAMP and spokesperson for Defence. Chris, thank you very much for coming on this afternoon. The SANDF accused of not taking the necessary diligence, firstly, in urgently informing the public as well on this development. What is your reading?
Well, yeah, certainly. I must say, perhaps, unlike what you've said, I think we must remember that South Africans' deployments have been in the DRC since 1999. It's quite a long time. What we have now actually could have been predicted. We have deployed South African soldiers into that area with a diminishing SANDF budget over 15, 20 years. So much so that the SANDF has been cutting corners on everything, on maintenance, on renewing equipment, even now lately starting cutting corners on training. Recently, there was a problem with at the infantry school, no money for fuel and no money for ammunition. So what we have there are really ill-prepared, ill-supported South African troops. And the South Africa troops are very good. They've got a very good reputation.
Yeah.
They've conducted themselves very well. But you can't go into that type of battle with reputation only. You need support. Yeah. And that's simply not there.
So would you pin the failures that you are relating now to just a lack of funds, or is there something more?
Well, it's lack of funds and all the consequences going with it. Lack of equipment, and we can also see it now, lack of planning. We have our troops there now without support, without close air support. We haven't got logistical support for them. We also have left them in the DRC without the ability to fight modern weapons. The M23 has been using precision-guided mortars. We've got nothing against that. In fact, we don't even have that. Yeah. We have it in South Africa. It's being developed and available in South Africa, but SANDF simply didn't procure it. So we are in a very, very difficult situation with our soldiers there. Now we have the casualties. We have, very sadly, the 9 members killed in action. And we've got a large number of wounded soldiers, and we haven't got the ability to catch them back to South Africa.
Yeah.
And in stark contrast to this, the minister and the generals were there and left Goma in a luxury VIP Falcon and left the injured soldiers behind. I just want to, the big difference between the blue light and red carpeting milieu that the top brass of our SANDF find themselves in, and the stark reality on the ground where there's no support, and they are basically left on their own and to make do with the little that they do have.
Now, throughout these years, as you put it, of no support, diminishing capability, dilapidating infrastructure, and the many other issues that you have raised, has there been absolute silence from political heads in the department, but even the president?
No, this is an ongoing battle, ongoing debate in committee, in parliament, about the diminishing budget. And a very serious thing that's also now unfolding is there are more than 60 storage places where our equipment should have been in preservation in special circumstances with a very low humidity. those contracts have been cancelled, and actually our main battle equipment is rusting away because of the inability to honour the contracts to preserve our main battle equipment. But it's not only that. Everything else is being rusting away because obviously a defence force do not need all the equipment all the time. And they need to preserve it to be available on short notice. This is of no importance to the SANDF. And there's such a lot of wastage going on, even in these circumstances. But the bottom line is, in effect, our troops in the SA, in the DRC, are there on an unfunded mandate. And they simply cannot, we cannot with any responsibility leave them there. There are two options: get it right, get immediate support for them, which we don't have, get it from elsewhere, or withdraw from the DRC.
Yeah.
We cannot be in this situation.
So we are told by some in the Defence Committee that this particular item has been a long-standing item, that the South African troops deployed in the DRC are under-resourced and ill-prepared for the dangers that they are facing there. So what has been the justification from the answering department for keeping the troops there?
Well, for us being in the DRC, well, that's a presidential prerogative. The reasoning behind this is that we are part of SADC, and we need to participate. But there are only 3 countries that are actually contributing troops to the SADC mission in the DRC, and the major neighbours of the DRC, Angola and Zambia, is not participating. We got sucked into that, and we are now encircled on almost every side by the M23, supported by Rwanda, but on the eastern side is Rwanda, and there are indications that they have massed about 4,000 to 5,000 troops on the border, and actually are moving into the DRC, into North Kivu province, and moving on to Goma. There are also video material available of the Rwanda Defence Force being on the lake, also with a marine capability, which we haven't got there.
So in your view then, our stay there is no longer serving that reason which was given, the multinational cooperation being part of SADC. So if it's not serving that, why are we still there?
I don't know. There are rumors that we are there to protect mineral interests of some very important people. That cannot be confirmed. The reality is that we got sucked into a civil war, which is now developing into a war between Eastern African countries.
Now, the call to withdraw immediately, what does that entail?
Well, we have to withdraw. There's no such a thing as immediate withdrawal. That is very, very dangerous and can be very costly in lives. So we have to withdraw in an orderly fashion. There are no indications that any peace agreement will be reached very soon. But after this current offensive is over, we should bring our troops home. There's no alternative. We cannot continue in this fashion. We cannot have a SANDF throttled on a shoestring budget and then expect them to perform and to fight against one of the best equipped, well-trained armies in South Africa, the Rwandan Defence Force.
Chris Hattingh, we appreciate your time, spokesperson for the Democratic Alliance in Defence there. That's Chris Hattingh on the call for the withdrawal of South African troops in the DRC.